Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the NECA Heroes of the Storm Stitches figure, who I believe is a WoW character. So for those of you WoW people, you'll know and you will probably want to get this figure. He's one of the deluxe figures, so he's much bigger than the other guys, and he is really heavy. He stands roughly, let's say 19.5 centimeters, which makes him about 7.5 inches tall, and as you can see, he's quite thick, quite wide. He's a robust fellow, if you want to put it nicely, and he's all really solid plastic, so he's definitely got some mass to him. It's a really meaty figure, and he is particularly grotesque, but that's the way it goes. He's got all of this paintwork on him. The entire figure has like a reddish wash on top of the blue. There's shading everywhere. There's just too many different points to point out. But all of the stitches are done. Everything is detailed fully. Very cool looking. You can see on his back, he's got the spine showing. That's all painted up. The various hands or body parts are painted appropriately. It's just a really nasty looking SOB, that's for sure. But let's look at the accessories before we get into the figure too much. Let me set him down. He'll probably still be in, yeah, he's still in the shot. I'm not going to move the camera because why bother. So we get this, which is a giant cleaver, which is really cool. It is hollow. Because it would just be too darn heavy if it was solid, but it's nicely done. The handle comes apart so that you can get it in his hand. That's a good thing. Nice paintwork throughout, very shiny silver. We get this little hook for the little hand, which also comes apart so you can put it in there, no problem. And then we get this piece, which I think is particularly nice. I love this sculpted chain. It does feel hollow, but I don't care because it is just really impressive looking. I love the way they sculpted that. Rather than just throwing on any old chain, they sculpted it to make it look really nice. So, very cool accessories. And this guy is loaded with as much articulation as he is gross. It's just, let's start with the head, I guess. So the head is on a ball peg, double ball peg, so it can move all the way around. No problem at all. Let's get in a little tighter so you can see the details. You can see his eyes are really well done. The teeth and everything sculpted nicely. The jaw is hinged, so if you lift the head up a little bit, you can open the jaw. So you have open and closed. And it's hard for me to do because my fingers are too big, but the tongue is actually on a ball peg that lets it move up and down, but you can also pull it forward and stick it out. I can't do that because my fingers are too big and I can't get anything in there to do it. I tried using this, but this is technically a softer plastic, so it didn't have the best of luck, but I'll show you a little bit. It's about halfway out at this point right here, so you can stick it out a little bit more than that. But still, it's a really cool feature that they included, so I like that. This arm up here has a fixed ball hinge, so you can lift it up and down, and you can force it even higher if you want to. Not too far, but it will go a little bit higher. And then you have the hinge and the rotation in there, so you can rotate that around a little bit depending on how you want him to hold the weapon. So that's pretty cool that they added the articulation. I thought this was going to be all one fixed piece with just like a swivel, but they gave us a little bit more, so that's kind of cool. This shoulder, same type of joint. So we've got the hinge in there and the swivel. It's a little bit more limited just due to the sculpt. It doesn't have the best range, but you can bring it up fairly far. Not super far, but it'll do. You can bring it out this way too if you want to, of course. And then right here we have our elbow joint, which is actually a hinge and a swivel. So you can rotate it around this way, and you can use the hinge, which is really stiff because he's so thick. You don't get the best range out of it. That's probably as far as it's going to go. So the hinge isn't super useful, to be completely honest. You're only going to really go from there to there, which is kind of a bummer. I think it would be better if it had more range of motion there. But again, since he's so big, it's probably not a huge deal that he's not particularly agile in the joints, but what are you going to do? We have a wrist swivel here and a hinge for the wrist, so that'll move around just fine. It's not really limited at all. For the torso articulation, his boobs can rotate right around. I think it's, well, maybe. I can't tell if it's supposed to be a ball peg or just a swivel. The swivel works no problem. I am not getting much range out of the ball peg. If it is supposed to be a ball peg, I can't say for sure. I'm thinking not, though. This arm, we have our standard type of hinge for the shoulder. It is also particularly stiff. That's about as far as it's going to go up, so not too far up. It can go down all the way. It just takes a little bit of force. It's pretty big, so technically you can generate enough force to break it. I haven't had any breakage trouble at all. It feels really sturdy, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just be aware. And then we have the same type of joint in this elbow as we had over here, but you can see it's going to have a little bit better range of motion. It's just also really stiff. You get about 45 degrees out of it, and you can straighten them out. So that's a little bit better. And then the wrist has no problem at all. This guy's hard to review. He's heavy, and I have to hold it out really far because he's pretty big. Okay, so for the hips, is it a ball peg? I'm not sure if it's a ball peg or a hinge, to be honest. But either way, you get really good range. So I'm thinking that's a hinge. Well, now it's letting me move it. So I think maybe it's a ball peg. I don't know. You get really good range. You can rotate it around. You can bring it in, bring it out, do whatever you want with it. The knee has the same type of joint as the elbows. Or is this one a ball peg? Okay, I was wrong. This one's a ball peg. Is that one a hinge? Yeah. Okay, so this one's a ball peg also. So you can bring that pretty much any direction you want. Then the ankle has the hinge and the swivel, which it takes some force, but you can put it however you want to. Now this hip has even more range of motion because it's narrower. You can really bring that leg wherever you want it. And then this knee is the one that has the hinge in it. I thought they both did, but I was wrong. So you can rotate it around and hinge it forward or bring it all the way back. Pretty much whatever you want to do with that leg you can do. It has much more range of motion, probably because it's a lot narrower than the other leg. And then this ankle also has the hinge and the swivel. So if you're a WoW player, or if you just really like interesting figures like this, or if you're a horror collector maybe, or I don't know, this one has a lot of cool sculpting, a lot of cool paintwork, and decent range of motion for what it is, so I'm going to say I recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you stick around for the photos here at the end, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. In the meantime, keep collecting.